I now formally open the reading, and it's the launch event for WordAid, as all of you know. I'm not going to say very much at all. I have something to do with it. I'm part of the collective, but actually all of the credit lies with Nikki and Vicky and the contributors. Big welcome. Wonderful to see so many people. Enjoy the evening. There is a pink bucket which will be making the rounds at various points, into which you are to deposit whatever you feel you can manage. I know already we've raised a lot of money, so thank you. I'm now going to pass to Nikki. Thank you very much.
Wow, I think that's the first thing I've got to say. When Vicky and I had the original idea back in March of bringing together an anthology of poetry for children in need, we didn't expect anything like this. We happened to mention this to Patricia, that we wanted to do this anthology, and she put us in touch also with Jen and Joe, who wanted to produce anthologies in the future for other charities. So we decided to come together and call ourselves WordAid, because we thought, you know, nice catchy title. We originally thought we would end up with a small booklet with maybe 50 poems from local writers. We ended up with nearly 400 poems sent to us. We had submissions from all over the world: Greece, Canada, Australia, America, France. It's been absolutely incredible. We've been really overwhelmed by how generous poets have been. And how enthusiastic everyone has been about the project. We've put a list of poems up there that are going to be read with their page numbers, so if you want to follow along, you can. We're not going to have a proper interval because we want to get as many readers as possible for you tonight. So what we're going to do, we're going to do it in two halves and just have a 5-minute break in the middle. And during that break, we'd like to ask any contributors that are here to come down to the front so we can take a photo of everybody together. So we thought that'd be really nice. Okay, on to the poetry. I'm going to introduce the first set of poets in groups of 3, and they'll get up and read their poems for you. Gary Studley reading Mine, and Alison McNaught reading Elephant. Thank you.
This poem's called Mine. Give me the room with the tangerine door, where the glossed over gloop hung from its hinge, in a bubble-like drop never to rain, fighting prods, creased but not bursting. Back to the bum-wide sill, platooned with snipers in moulded poses, down on one knees, bombed by airfix, dangling in full Humbrol glory, diving in lamppost, gap curtain searchlight. Show me the black magic secrets. The box world of garden lie under the bed, where beetles mug snails as they leaked ever traywards, and ants made unsquashable shadpile escapes. Take me to where the homemade shelving ascended the wood chip like Sherpa Tenzing, as commandos and Williams built temples of worship, and everything important was brought into play, and all that matters was right here today. Thank you.
Elephant. I left him living with my mum and dad. I like to think of him squashed on my bed beside the piano, chewing licorice all sorts, finding the white china ponies in my trunk with his, listening to swifts build their nests in the eaves. The authorities then put a stop to it. Elephants are always denied access to homes in the countryside, they wrote. But he's always lived there, I protested. He's no danger to flora, fauna, or strangers. My pleas were rejected. He moved out, seduced by a witch. Mum whispered, he's gone, a crack in her voice. It took time, but I did track them down to a brand new apartment in town. Silent and stinking of cabbage, he was shivering, wrapped in her shawl in the gloom of a room at the top of a high-rise. The curtains stayed closed up all day. She'd not have him see the lines on her face, the grey in her hair, or that wart on her chin. I had to sneak him away. Squeezing him into the lift was a struggle. I bought him a phone and a home overlooking the sea. Now we speak every day. He says he's okay. Lonely? Maybe. When I visit, he unbolts the door with the tip of his tusk. We stroll down to the sun-drenched shore, past the jelly bean huts to the breakwater. Curling up against the heat wave, he flaps his great ears to cool me and sprays water like soda all over my head, feet and hands. We sift our memories together like sand.
And next we have Wendy French reading from We Have a Little Sister and She Has No Breasts, Michael Curtis reading Christmas Concert, and Megan Watkins reading Sharing a Shell.
Thank you, and thank you for all the work that's gone into tonight. I'm reading the two sections of a much longer poem that are in the anthology, and the poem was written in memory of a young girl who took her own life at the age of 13. She was sent over here from St. Lucia, where she'd lived with her grandmother, believing that her grandmother was her mother. Here are the windows of the porter cabin. They're open. No breeze passes through as you dart from instrument to instrument, exploring the tautness of the African drum, playing with the dulcet sound of the triangle, beating a pulse on the xylophone. You peer through thick lenses that blur your vision. You crash and stumble in heavy trainers, sit cross-legged in torn leggings, oblivious of everything. Is there chaos in your head? Frantically, you rearrange cacti, spider plants, humming guttural patterns, uneasy in the body which you scarcely fit into. I'm turning the rain stick, celebrating the rhythms of now, but you're back with your grandmother, the St. Lucia sun baking you hot with sweat and the smell of work you loved. We start singing, and there's me, trying to synchronize your energy as you play out the morning sun. Eating candy floss, we sit on the sea wall near the hospital bus. The lampposts were touching points from bus to beach. Dazed eyes say medications kicked in. To the right, the pier with its amusements, a steady noise protecting silence. A child cries, his foot's cut, and his mother has her back to him. You talk about your brother, his football team, and the pastor who takes him to matches now your father's left. My brother's 8, you say. Don't know about football, so I choose words and throw a pebble at the incoming tide, but it doesn't reach. Your mum and dad love you, I say. Quit the crap, race you to the sea.
Christmas concert. For the last performance, the benches were full, and Liam was a calling bird, one of 4, 2 boys and 2 girls, divided like turtle doves. She pointed him out, and at once I saw the resemblance, the turn of the nose, a mist in the blues of their eyes, her pride in him almost maternal. She didn't know what she'd get for Christmas, and agreed it would be a surprise. Didn't mention she couldn't be sure which house she'd be in for the holiday, though she did say she'd loved this school, and how she'd brought him in when she started year 3, and later their sister and little brother too, and did still. Dropped them off on the way. There was time, so it was okay. And yes, she liked to join in with clubs and things, like she did with the chorus, when the master of the rings fell head over heels, and Mr. Partridge broke the spell, and the dancers gave it all they had to give, and more, just like her. Thank you.
Sharing a shell. A bedtime rhyme clings to me, a long-lashed crab, an anemone with glued-on glitter, and something called a bristle worm, languid, ambiguously hairy, hybrid arms and heads in the bed, delicate tentacles self-sporing, and the pulsing crustaceans' fontanelle softness. And here come the worry dolls, little stick arms outstretched, and badly made clothes unravelling, like mummies advancing towards us. They carry a paper standard, an amulet in the adult alphabet transcribed from a bedside interview in a firm, clear hand. I want my daddy to be my friend. The poor stick man spells, oh, what to do, sits on the pillow and swallows the paper in pills. There is an equation to describe wanting daddy can only be solved by adding daddy, which makes you want daddy, too long to be taught in school with its problems that only school can solve, like wire protractor and compass sharp fear. The primate stands with the tin opener hands, infected with mumps and mercury, tapping, helloing at our shell, our home for three.